Man, the landlord of One Chance, One Life TV.
Welcome to One Chance, One Life TV. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate this opportunity.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Let the people know who you are and explain to the ones that's unfamiliar what it is that you do.
My name is Jerry Williamson. I am the owner and I am the headmaster of Rise Preparatory Academy. It's a private school online and it covers from 5th to 12th grade. Outside of the school business, I also run a page called Rising Stars that promote kids in the 8th through 10th grade on varsity.
In 2018, you decided to create Rise Prep Academy. Break down to me what led up to you making that decision.
Okay, prior, I was an actual charter and private school teacher. And I remember one day at Gulliver Prep, my cousin Cornelius Floyd, who actually attended Gulliver Prep and graduated and signed to Arkansas. I remember one time when our coach was visiting and looked at his transcript and he scratched out certain classes. And I was like, what is he doing? That's when I realized, hey, these student athletes, they're taking classes that they really do not need. And that's what sparked my interest. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna start a school where they focus only on core classes that benefits them. So it started as an ideal, and then eventually it turned to an actual school over time. Most people only knew me from my sports side. They had no idea that I was a former teacher.
Right. So when you decided to make that decision, were there anyone that believed in your vision enough in the beginning to be willing to assist you with making your dreams a reality?
To be honest, nobody did. They just knew me from the sports side. Only very few knew at the time while I was writing that I actually was a mathematics teacher. But once again, you know, the vision, I knew after doing my homework after 2 or 3 years. So remember, before I started Rise Preparatory Academy, I already had an idea that I actually wanted to start a school. It's just that I didn't know exactly how to start. But as far as the blueprint, what kids need to take as far as academically, I knew exactly what they needed to do. Once I learned the school side, because the private school I used to work at, the owner, he's now a owner of a private school. So he's the one that actually taught me how to start a private school. So now that I started a private school, he told me, he said, hey, you know, you're into the sports world. Hey, your private school would be great for kids who's into sports. So believe it or not, so I guess you could say he was the first one that seen my vision, and he helped me along the way.
Oh yeah, that was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, blessing in disguise.
What are the qualifications for kids to be able to attend Rise Prep Academy?
So when I first began, I had no history. So the kids who attended was the kids who basically didn't have the best grades because I needed enrollment and I had no academic history. So after 2 years, parents began to realize, wait, these kids who come into a school, they're going off to college. The one thing that I pretty much stress is that when a kid enrolled at Rise Preparatory Academy, they're going to go off to college. So after 2 or 3 years, they noticed a trend. Every time I have a graduation, somebody's walking across the stage. Either they're going to school on an athletic scholarship, academic scholarship, they're going to the military, or they're going to a trade school. And when I received my first Division I signing, which was Torrey School to Morrison, that's when the neighborhood started realizing, like, oh, okay, kids can go to Division I from his school. And after him was Jermaine Hawkins from Miami Killian, who went to FAMU. And after that, the rest is history.
Yeah. So when you first started out with Rise Prep Academy, how did you go about receiving funds to fund the school, if you don't mind me asking?
All right, so as far as funds, I basically had no help. I funded myself. So what I would do in the morning, I would wake up 5:30 in the morning, make sure I'm at my actual school location, making sure the kids are there doing their work. And midway throughout the day, around 12 o'clock, I actually had to leave to drive to the Keys and to work my other job, which was basically 3 to 11. My other job actually was funding my actual school. So technically, majority of my paycheck was paying for the school until I had enough students to actually bring in more staff.
Yeah, wow.
So
hard work and dedication.
Yeah, so people don't realize for X amount of months, I was working from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is one reason why I put on all this weight over time. I mean, I got a story to tell you. I really put in a lot of work behind the scenes. So this wasn't given to me at all.
Right. How many staff members do you currently have at Rise Prep Academy?
I currently have 5 staff members. I have 1 staff member who takes care of the enrollment specialist, and I have 4 certified teachers.
Right. Do you remember who was Rise Prep Academy first student?
Well, the first 3 students were kids I covered from youth football. It was Levy Miller, who's now at South Miami High School, Stan Corn Clark, who just played this past year at Miami Central, who just signed to Louisville, and Trey. God, I can't think of Trey's last name right now. I can't think of his name. But Trey also just signed a scholarship to attend Edward Waters University.
Right. As far as your background when it comes down to school, do you have any degrees? If so, fill me in on all the degrees that you have.
Yeah, currently I have an AA degree from Miami-Dade College in education. I have a bachelor's degree from Florida International University in recreation sports management, and my minor was also in education. For a master's, I actually attended St. Thomas University where I earned 5 credits, but due to my car, I wasn't able to finish, but I will be returning. But I was accepted to the MBA program. Right,
that's what's up. Before you decided to attend college and focus on getting the degrees you have, what was Jerry doing with himself? Fill me in as much as you can.
While I was in college, believe it or not, I'm pretty much doing the same thing I've been doing now. While I was in college, I had to stop coaching youth football. So when I stopped coaching youth football, I still need to be around the game. So that's when I began recording games with Coach Knight for the Palmetto Raiders, national championship coach, big time. And what I did for my free time is I used to go out to Richmond Heights Park, and the kids would be playing football, and I used to ask them, like, you got talent, why are you not going up to somebody's college? And of course they told me, hey, they made mistakes in life, so, you know, I pretty much got on my cell phone, made a few phone calls in California junior colleges, and I began helping kids go off to junior college free of charge. So I pretty much been helping kids go off to college since pretty much my freshman year of college. Now that I actually have a school, people are not surprised because I've been doing this on my free time for free of charge.
Right. So what does it mean to you seeing so many kids succeed with the assistance of Rise Academy prep school system that you built?
I knew it would be a success, of course, for a parent. If you're a traditional parent who used to the kids going to school, then I understand. I'm not against it. But, you know, even I went to school. I graduated from Miami Palmetto Senior High School. So I know how it is to physically go to school and do the assignments. But as time moves on, you have to adapt. And what I learned is a lot of these kids are taking courses they do not need. Online also allow a kid to learn at their own pace or accelerate. With that being said, I have a student named Austin Simmons. Well, let me rewind for a second. I learned also that with online courses, you can take high school classes early as 6th grade. So once I realized that a parent or a private school owner, you have all the freedom in the world compared to a counselor at school that tells you what you can and can't do. So once I learned that, I made sure I had kids who I feel was high school ready take high school classes in middle school. So for going back now, what I was explaining to you, Austin Simmons is a kid who enrolled at Rise Preparatory Academy as a 7th grader. Between his 7th and 8th grade year, he earned all his high school credits because with Rise Preparatory Academy, we are a semester school. We're not a quarterly school that takes a whole year. So with that being said, before his 9th grade began, Austin Simmons earned all his 16 core classes. And so as of right now, as a 10th grader, he's gonna earn his AA degree this summer from Miami-Dade College.
Dang, that's amazing, yeah.
And he's currently committed to the University of Florida, a 4-star recruit. Mind you, when he first enrolled, we wasn't even sure he was going to be a 4-star recruit or a great football player. We just knew he was a smart kid and he was a baseball player. So hey, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Do you check in with your former students as they continue on with their journeys to the next level?
Yes, I sure do. Like right now, Jaheim Silverstein, which people know as G7, he's currently over there at Arizona. I have a kid named Jamal Wise who's currently at South Carolina. And all I do is I always ask them, hey, how you guys doing? You know, and they always tell me, we're doing fine. And they always tell me too, hey, I'm glad we took the online courses because the majority of our classes in college is online. So it's kind of like we've been in high school all over again. You know, that's one question a parent asks me, hey, does the work from online translate to college? And so far, all my kids done told me, hey, college is just like high school. Majority of our classes are online, and we're actually more focused because with you, we knew we had to complete assignments at a certain time frame. So that's why for college, it's pretty much, it's not hard for us.
Right, right. So when it comes down to the parents of the kids, was it difficult to get them to believe in your vision in the beginning?
Yes. Well, the parents outside, it was difficult. I like to say thank you to LaToya Johnson. She's the mother of Centuria James. Centuria James just won a state championship at Miami South Ridge. So she was one of the parents. Also, Cameron Lee parents, they was one of the parents that early on, they seen my vision, they believed in me, and they students was enrolled with me. And just like that, their kids are going off to college now.
Yeah. Since your doors opened in 2018, how many kids have graduated early through Rise Prep Academy?
So I've been established for 5 years. So remember, my first 2.5 years, I took in kids who was pretty much struggling for enrollment purposes. They still went off to college. But my last 2.5 years, 85% of my seniors have been early enrollees.
Oh, that's what's up.
So I knew I had a plan. If a kid come to me early and not, the 11th and 12th grade year, I knew what I could do for them. So Austin Simmons is a perfect example. He came to me as a 7th grader, and he earned all his high school credits before his 9th grade year. So if a kid is actually focused, this is also an online school that can actually help you earn an AA degree or have your college credits.
Right. What kind of conversations are you having with these kids and their parents when you're reaching out trying to get them to join your program?
Well, this is one thing. Most people don't believe me, but I really don't recruit parents to come to my school. So what normally happens is I post a kid on my Instagram page, which is Jerry_Rising Stars, and a parent, again, they will realize all these kids go on Division I from this school. So basically they'll inquire, hey, tell me about this school, how does it work? I explain it, and then from there, they pretty much enroll from there. Because as you know, this is a non-traditional setting. So it's not a place where the average parent will say, hey, we want to take them and do this non-traditional route. They want traditional. So the parents who reach out to me are the ones who are interested from what they see on social media, and they eventually enroll.
Yeah. You recently went on college visits with some of your graduates. What was that moment like for you?
Oh, no, it was a great moment. Basically, for example, at University of Miami, Bobby and Robbie Washington, for example, they was early enrollees. When Bobby first came here, Bobby didn't have any offers. People don't know that. Like, he really made a name for himself within a year. So, I'm using him for example because Robbie's already a 4-star recruit. Bobby was a kid who didn't have the stars or the offers. So just remember him enrolling at my school basically spring of his sophomore year and pretty much doing the workload where this kid had to do work 7 days a week and sometimes double on the weekend, and just being able to see him now at University of Miami as an early enrollee and seeing the articles how he's a kid they feel is going to play as a freshman, that was amazing.
Yeah. Explain the feeling of going to watch some of these kids in practice at the collegiate level.
Or for example, FIU, I have 2 kids, Michael Rabis, who played this past year at Miami Norland, and Nahir Jackson, who played at Killian. They're both at FIU. So tell you a funny story about that. Nahir is a redshirt freshman this year in the spring. I didn't even know that Michael and Nahir was roommates. So they're both graduates from the school, didn't even realize it. So when I explained, hey, once he knew that was pretty cool, he took him on his wing like a big brother. So when I was at FIU, just watching how hard they have worked it, and actually out there at FIU taking part in practices, and actually most importantly, being a actual role model, that made me proud.
Yeah, for sure. On a weekly basis, how much time of your personal life would you say is being consumed with you focusing on keeping up with these kids and their journeys?
Oh man, I really don't have time for myself, to be honest with you. I make little time for me. My day consists of the school, so I'll give you a perfect example. I wake up in the morning, and from my school hours are 8:30 to 1:30. Once I leave from school, I pretty much get a little rest, and then I'm somewhat doing Rising Stars. And Rising Stars can consist of maybe 2 or 3 hours. And then after that, I'm doing NCAA paperwork. I'm doing accreditation paperwork. So, me personally, I've been a workaholic. I really don't depend on people. So it may seem like a lot of work to other people, but to me, I was growing up without a father. So I learned I got to do everything on my own. I can't really wait on people. So for some people, this is working hard, but me, if you only could depend on yourself, who else you could have people, to depend on you? So when they say working hard, to me, that's just like life. That's just surviving. So it's not even working hard to me. Either I'm going to do it or it's not going to get done.
Yeah, I agree with that. Are you surprised with the level of success you have reached in 5 years with your program?
Oh yes, I'm surprised. Believe it or not, I was hoping that I say, hey, if I'm lucky, I can get 35 or 50 kids, and I'd be happy with that. You know, as of today, I'm over 150 kids enrolled, and it's constantly growing. I have parents reaching out to me from Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and even outside the state of Florida because they watch my Rising Stars page. So this is the biggest confusion. Rising Stars is my sports platform. Since I have students that play sports, I normally feature them on my Rising Stars page. So I don't have people mention my school as Rising Stars Academy or Jerry Academy School. I don't heard all the craziest names. So I use my Rising Stars page because I have almost 30,000 followers. So if a kid is doing well, that's like, hey, I'd rather take advances using my platform, which over 30,000 followers, to promote the school instead of creating a school page itself, which people won't be as excited.
Right.
So that's the biggest, confusion with most parents.
Yeah. So what are some of your goals for your program for the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I like to have an actual physical location. Even though Rise Preparatory Academy is an online school, I like to have a face, somewhere you could pull up and see an actual small location. It don't have to be nothing major. I also like to have magnet programs. I like to include trade programs. So people think Rise is mostly sports because of my sports background, but the students I have currently enrolled, 10 students this past year was basically dual enrollment students. So I like to pretty much enhance my academic my academic side of the school, and go from there. But the trade, trades used to be in public schools back in the days. I like to also add trades back into the school system.
Yeah. If I'm an incoming high school freshman, what are some of your yearly goals I should set?
If you're an incoming freshman, as far as academically or athletically?
Both.
Academically, you want to make sure that you complete all your core classes. You do not want C's. So the misconception is you can pass your year with all C's. Kids are not aware that you need at least a 2.3 core GPA just to go off to college. So when kids are enrolled here, I turn from principal to NCAA coordinator. When kids are here, I coach them up. I explain to them, hey, with this online curriculum, I'm shooting for a 3.0 or better. If kids enroll, we said 9th grader, but if a kid enrolled in the 10th grade, and if I realize he has C's and D's on his transcript, I'm going to automatically make him redo those classes over. So that's why when kids are here, their GPAs are higher than the normal, because I personally take the interest in every kid, and I look at each kid's transcript individually, and I make sure they retake classes over. So one of the biggest misconceptions of Rise Preparatory Academy is that people will come and say, hey, the kid GPA, this is when I first started, the kid GPA was low at the public school. He goes over there and now he has like a 3.0 GPA. What I do over here is no different than college. In college, we call it a forgiveness. All I do is have them go back and retake the class over again, and the new grade replaces the old grade, and then just like that, your GPA increases. With the public schools, unless you earn a D or an F, you can't retake the class over again. So I make every kid strive to their highest potential. I literally personalize, watch their transcripts, and make sure they go over and beyond.
Oh, yeah. Damn, that's amazing. Yeah. Seeing what Deion Sanders did at Jackson State, and now seeing what he is putting together in Colorado, how inspiring is it to someone like you that loves helping to elevate the kids?
Well, that's a great question. So just so you know, you see this logo right here? Yeah. RPA? This is the same logo as JSU.
Yeah.
When I first started, I had a logo prior, but when I saw Deion Sanders and what he was going through, I knew, for one, with him being an African-American coach, they was basically against him. They didn't want him to succeed, and he lacked the resources, right? So after watching Deion Sanders, just so you know, this is off topic, this is how the logo came about, because just like him, I was a black business owner leading kids, but technically a lot of people didn't want to see me succeed. So that JSU became the RPA.
Oh, that's hard. Yeah. What's your opinion on the backlash Deion was receiving when he decided to leave Jackson State for Colorado?
Me personally, listen, you have to build. Like I read a few stories where sometimes the food, the water, it was terrible in the city. So I feel like he could have been his own gift and his curse. Like Deion, he did more for the city in that time frame than the Cosmo did in I don't know how long. So, you know, even though during his time frame, he did more for the community than the Cos have done overall in the general. And I feel like, you know, his time, he did enough during that time frame. It was time for him to move on and do better things.
Right.
He at least made it better for the next coach coming in.
Right. I read that you coached a couple Part 1 teams before. Would you ever get back into coaching?
I really don't have the time. But yes, I coached teams prior. I used to coach the Palmetto Raiders, and then I also was a part of the Coral Reef Broncos, which is now the Palmetto Bay Broncos, which they discontinued. But I was able to experience winning the Division II National Championship, and then also as a coach at Palmetto Raiders, I was able to advance to the Division I Nationals. So we was one game short, but I experienced the football. So I'm used to winning now, so you can say that too.
Yeah. In your opinion, Broward and Dade County, name the top 5 high schools for athletes to attend.
You got to go with St. Thomas, man. They had like 30 kids signed Division I. So I won't say it in order, but I'll say St. Thomas, Chaminade Madonna, American Heritage Plantation, Christopher Columbus, and Gulliver Prep. I'll name those 5. I mean, Homestead is doing pretty good, but I'm talking about longevity, so I'll name those 5.
Right. How thankful are you for the kids and parents that trusted in you and your vision since the beginning?
Oh, no, I'm extremely thankful. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I mean, what you see now, I mean, you won't be here interviewing me.
Right.
I mean, that's simple. But, I mean, it's a great feeling when someone, see, that another reason why I'm big on upcoming schools, because just like myself, I was somebody that basically told somebody a vision, and then they believed in me. So whenever I see smaller schools building, you'll realize I'm always out there because I remember how it felt. So if whatever I can do to lend a hand, I'm going to do the same for them.
Right, right. Name a few of your most recent graduates that you are excited about seeing perform at the next level.
Let's see, at the next level. This year I definitely want to see Bobby Washington, Robbie Washington. They are the sons of former 5-star running back Bobby Washington. I'm looking forward to seeing Nair Jackson. He's a kid from Philly that came down here in 1 year and picked up 3 Division I offers. He's now a starter offensive lineman at FIU. Big kid, 6'6", 330. I like to see Mark Allen Gay. He's a kid. He's a special kid. So I'll give you a history about him. When I first started the school, most people was pretty much labeling it as a school where kids not that smart went there, which was very false. So his mom and his dad, which are basically big-time entrepreneurs in the area, Mark Gay basically arrived with like a 3.5 GPA. So I remember talking to a parent telling me, hey, I know there's a kid, Mark Allen Gay, enrolled in your school, but he doesn't have any academic issues. Like, well, I'm trying to understand. So Mark Allen Gay actually helped pave the way for parents to realize, like, yes, this school is also for kids who are very smart. And with that being said, I put together an academic plan for him, telling him, hey, I know a way where you can earn a 4.0 GPA. Of course, you have to do it, but I put together an academic plan. He did it. And then I told him, hey, I can have a setup where come your junior year, spring of your junior year, you can take college courses. So basically for a whole, his entire senior year, he's taking nothing but college courses. So come his freshman year, it'll basically be like his second year in college, because during the fall, he attended Florida International University as a dual enrollment student. And then during the springtime, he attended Central Michigan. So he's literally have not set foot in a high school hallway academically his entire senior year.
God, that's crazy, though, boy. For all the young athletes out there, break down the importance of them getting understanding on how the recruiting process goes.
All right, so this is something I preach every day on my sports page. Recruiting is a fast-paced game. If your child, you football coaches, you're not gonna like this, but if your child has great size as an 8th grader, forgo youth football. Go play for someone charter or private school. Get your child name on the map early, because between 8th and 10th grade are your most important years. What parents do not realize, after their 10th grade year, is when they release the rankings. Once they release those rankings, those kids who start from 8th to 10th grade are made man. So come their 11th and 12th grade year, those kids are just going by on visits and just getting more offers and more offers. The kids who, trust the process, who playing JV as a 9th grader, I mean, I'm not knocking playing JV, but the ones who trust the process, playing JV as a 9th grader, then being the backup as a 10th grader, and then come 11th grade, they're behind the curveball because those coaches are now looking at kids who have the stars over them, even though they may have been better than the kid. Unfortunately, the kids made a better decision entering high school. So that's really the trick. So it's not who's the best kid their junior, senior year. It's who performed the best your 8th and 10th grade year.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. Are some of the Florida high school coaches setting these kids up for failure by playing some of these kids out of position?
Oh, yes. Oh, big time. So this is one thing, and the coaches, like I always tell people on my sports page, I'm not here to make no friends. And what I mean by that is, over and over again, coaches tell you, hey, we want our DNs at least 6'4". We want our cornerbacks at least 5'11" or taller. Or if you're playing safety, we want to see you down at a nickel position. We want to see you too high. You know, we don't want what high school coaches do with kids. They put them at linebacker, and then they basically blitz every play, and they play outside linebacker. The coach will say, hey, we can't evaluate you. So what that means, parents, when a coach say he can't evaluate you, that means that if you're going to play that position in college, they need you doing those the same exact, they need you to have film in those same exact ways as in high school. So even though your child may be a cornerback, he may only play zone. Guess what? He's not playing man coverage. He's not playing off coverage. He's not showing how to press. He's not showing how to play banjo coverage. So this is the type of things that college coaches tell kids. And some coaches know it, but they just selfish. You know, just like when they put 6 foot, 220-pound kids at DN. Come college, that's a linebacker. That's not a DN. So I'm just giving you examples of how things work. And why is it so crucial now? Because back in the days, they had the patience to mold you into that position and they recruit you. Because of the transfer portal now, they don't have to. They don't need patience anymore. They just say, hey, we don't want you. We'll get a kid in the portal.
Yeah, that's real there. When we talk about D1 football and we speak on a position like defensive back, how important is size to the Division I universities?
Hey, I tell you this right now. Unfortunately, I'm 5'7". My mom 5'10". Unfortunately, she talked to a short dude. So with that being said, my stock at corner was done before it even started. But all truthness, if you're a 6-foot kid, man, you're gonna go Division I just because being 6 foot. Nowadays, I learned college coaches, they do not like the best kid like back in the days. They like the best looking athlete. So if you're a kid that's 6 foot tall and if you can run track and run in the 10s, 10-8, 10-7s, you're bound to go Division I just off upside compared to a kid who's 5'9", who's probably the best thing in the area, but who wants a 5'9" cornerback when the average receiver nowadays is 6'3"?
Yeah. The new head coach at Northwestern Senior High School, what's your take on that decision? Is it a step in the right direction for that program?
Hey, time will tell, but hey, he at least come from a background of winning state championships, and he also was productive in college. So he knows what it takes to win. So anybody who knows what it takes to win, they should sample from the people who coached them, and use that same formula.
Right. The NIL deals, do you feel like they are a gift and a curse for the athletes?
Oh man, it's a gift and a curse. I kind of wish the guys in the early 90s and the 80s would have had the NIL because they would have did great. The reason why I say it's a gift and a curse, when was the last time you heard a kid say in this interview, hey, I'm working hard to get my family out the hood? You don't hear those speeches no more, do you? All you see kids now is share, like, and retweet. That's all they care about. So kids now, they care about the wrong things pretty much. So with the NIL money, they want the money, but they don't want to work hard. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. If a kid pick up one D1 offer for the rest of his time in high school, he's gonna tell you kisses behind. I don't need to work hard because I got this D1 offer. When they go to camps, he's not gonna compete because he has a D1 offer. So in the long run, it actually hurts them. And then come to NIL time, you're gonna pay this kid who's gonna have that same mindset from high school and college. That's why they're hitting the transfer portal. And they're not entering the transfer portal, they're getting kicked out. So they're not gonna tell you that on social media.
Right. Name a few important people that's been playing a great role in the day-to-day operations of Rise Prep Academy.
Oh yeah, Chantel Perry, for sure, and Lorraine Best. Without her, oh my God, I have more gray hair. She does a great job my enrollment, and she does a great job keeping in contact with my parents. So just so people know, even though kids who attend Rise Preparatory, who attends Rise Preparatory Academy, the work is online, but we constantly keep in contact with the parents.
Right. If any of your graduates go on to make it to the professional level, Do you expect any of them to come and give back to your program?
I mean, truthfully speaking, I mean, they're not required to give back. You know, me, I did this because I wanted to see kids do well. I didn't expect for no one to give me nothing in return. So, you know, if they was to give back, that'd be fine. But, you know, with them actually going off to college, you know, I received my blessing.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah. If I'm a high school football player, break down all the advantages for me if I graduate high school early.
Oh, man. In the recruiting world right now, a early graduate is everything. So I'll give you a perfect example. Come December time, a college football coach told me roster management is an issue. So what is roster management? We can enter spring, when I say we, let's say we're FIU. We can enter spring with six D1 DBs. But because of the transfer portal, we're bound to lose maybe 3 of the 6. So now we're entering spring with only 3 DBs. We can't have a spring practice with only 3 DBs. So a kid who's probably better, who can graduate in June, you're now worthless now. I need a kid to come in and fill a role right away. So a kid who's an early enrollee will get picked over a kid who's actually not better than the kid in June.
Yeah, yeah. That's very important for them to know.
Yes.
When it comes down to your journey up until this point, what are some of your proudest moments?
My proudest moments was, it's never really me. My proudest moments is seeing kids suit up in those college uniforms. Because to me, yeah, it's sports, but I remember the journey when he first came here, putting together an academic plan, having the conversations with them as far as the recruiting process, how to speak to a coach, how to do this. Even through the college process, I had kids call me and, hey, I need help enrolling with the school. So, you know, I basically been there every step of the way. So you can say I feel like a proud parent and a proud principal at the same time.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about becoming a sports agent?
Somebody mentioned that to me before. From what I've seen at the time, and I can't do it, it's too cutthroat. This right here is much safer. They come here, I educate them, I get paid, and I make sure they do well. You know, I can't invest a lot of money that I don't have, and then come time for contract time, they leave me, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Coming out of high school, what's the importance of selecting a prime situation as far as schools?
Coming out of high school, what's the most important? Well, of course you're talking to me, but what parents need to look at is when it's time for a kid to enter high school, you need to be actually honest with yourself. You need to ask yourself, you know, is my son elite? Is my son somewhere in between? Or is he somebody that needs work? If you ask yourself that question, you're going to place him in a situation that fits him. A elite school do not have time for a kid who's in the middle or who's at the bottom. So you're wasting your time. You may want to go to a school where it's not the biggest name, but he's going to go there and play and develop, and he may eventually become a big name. So what I do as Rising Stars, even if you go to a school that's not known, if you're making plays, I'm going to write about you. So it's kind of equivalent of playing with the big name school. You know, you're just making a big name for yourself. Look at it that way.
Right.
And usually the big name schools eventually will come and recruit you away. That's how the business works.
Yeah. Do you see parents get in their kids' way and sometimes become their own kids' downfall?
Oh, yes, yes. So you have some parents who was not great athletes and their child became great. So they tend to live through their child. Sometimes the kids should be at a place what fits them, but because of their ego, they're going to place them somewhere else because technically they're living through the child. And sometimes the child do not start or they don't, meet expectations because the parents wasn't thinking about the child.
Yeah. Cam Kitchens had his name put up in the Raptors at the University of Miami after making the All-American team. What's it like watching him at the collegiate level?
Oh, it was great. So I'll tell you a story about Cam Kitchens. When I was working with Generation X, Cam Kitchens was playing for Northwest Falcons. It was a Division II program. For some reason at that time, people think just because you play Division II, you're not good. So Cam was when we did our Generation X team, myself, Darian, and Josh, we basically put together like an all-star Florida team, and he was a kid I used to vouch. I said, hey, I seen this kid, he can play. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. So I remember taking a picture with him, telling him, I said, listen, man, from this day forward, I'm going to feature you heavy, and you're going to show them that they was wrong. So he went out to the Florida Fire. Before he went out there, I told the coach, I said, listen, I got vouch for this kid. This kid can play. He ended up making Florida Fire, and he ended up leading the team in interceptions as a 9th grader. I mean, well, before the 9th grade year, and then he ended up going to Miami Northwestern and leading the team in interceptions, becoming a 4-star, now here at University of Miami. So I always joke about him. Like, he knew from way back then that I believed in him, and seeing the person he become now, I'm basically proud of him. So I guess you could say, hey, we both showed him wrong. I told him he was good.
Yeah. Cam is the first player to receive that award while still playing at the University of Miami. So that adds on to the specialness of his achievement, you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, the kid was always a baller, man. I don't know what it was, but at Northwestern, all he did was make plays. I just don't understand why he didn't make the All-American game, which, I mean, that's past tense now. But he's a kid that, you can't coach having an eye for the ball. Like, you can put kids at free safety, but, Ed Reed's, like, he has that Ed Reed type mentality where you could put him back there and he's going to make you look like the greatest coach on earth because he just has it. Not every kid has it. He has it.
Right. What positions do you think are the hardest positions to play to make it to the NFL?
Quarterback, cornerback, tackle.
Yeah.
Quarterback, cornerback. Yeah, because at quarterback, you got to first have a heart. A lot of these guys look good with quarterback counts because nobody hitting them. Once you get in that game and people flying at you, you see a total different kid. I'll say tackle. Tackle is tough too because you got a guy who's fast and strong, and you got to basically be patient, but at the same time being aggressive. And then I say a cornerback too because you have to cover someone who's extremely fast. So you have to understand I got to understand how to run with him, but not overdo it, and at the same time not be too aggressive looking back for the ball. So that's why I named it quarterback, tackle, cornerback.
Yeah. Do you eventually plan to expand your Rise Prep Academy school into other parts of South Florida?
I have asked that question. I have a few coaches ask me to place one in Broward. I'm going to first focus on where I'm at right now, and I may eventually expand. But as of right now, I just want to basically master where I'm at right now. Right. Once everything is ironed out and it's perfect, then I'll think about expansion.
Yeah. How important is it to you to utilize all your relationships and resources to continue to help others?
Oh no, it's very important from academic standpoint or athletic standpoint. Which one? Academic.
Both of them.
Yeah, well, it's very important because as of right now, early before I came to this meeting, I was with University of Miami. A staff member works for University of Miami who actually helps with. She's a learning specialist. So with that being said, I'm actually going to have somebody for my students teach the kids how to write college grammar style. So as you can see, resources. Because of Bobby and Robbie, I was able to speak to other people on the campus, and now I can basically bring someone on part-time. So that's actually great for my kids. So when they actually go off to college, I can guarantee a parent having success with somebody who's currently doing that at the time. As far as athletically, just my relationship with the college coaches. With the coaches coming by visiting, it's great because I have kids right now who's in the 7th and 8th grade playing varsity, and they're able to come in and watch college coaches. And let me rewind. I had a young man who's in the 7th grade, and Marshall came in, and I have a hat up here with Marshall because one of my seniors plays running back at Marshall, Maurice Jones. When the college coach came up here, the 7th grader was smart enough to wear the hat. So when the college coach came in, he was like, "Oh, I like you, man." And that made his day. He shook his hand and told him who he was. And you just think about it. How many 7th graders in middle school have the luxury of watching multiple college coaches come into a school, talk to an older kid, and giving them pointers like, "Hey, you need to shake your hand like this, or you need to do this." So these kids are basically in a 2 or 3 year a 2 or 3 year head start on what they need to be when that time comes, compared to a middle school kid who just basically in a middle school environment that's not going to see this until they senior year.
Yeah. Explain to some of the current high school athletes what are the downside to most private schools.
The downside is, I'll say 2 things. One, you can't graduate early. So there's certain private schools that they don't allow you to be early enrollee. So parents, the first thing you need to ask the schools, don't ask the coaches because they'll tell you what you want to hear. You need to ask the schools, "Hey, can my child graduate early?" If they tell you no, then it doesn't matter how good they are, they're not going to be able to graduate early. That means you may be missing out on NIL money. 2, it's just the courses. I mean, of course you have religious schools, but me, I'm straight business. So if I go to private school, I understand if it's a Christian, a Catholic school, but majority of the electives that you're taking, unfortunately, come time when colleges look at it, they don't want those credits.
Right.
So this is why Rise was created. We focus only on credits that they want to see. And when they come and visit, that's the main reason why. I explain how Rise work, and they say, oh, you understand. I will be coming back again because you benefit what we're looking for.
Right. Once these high school athletes make it to the college level, how important is it for them to obtain a degree in the process of chasing their football dreams?
Oh, the degree is important. I always tell kids all the time, listen, you can be a great youth football player, high school, and college. If you go to college and you don't graduate, you basically just invested your whole body and gained nothing in return. Talking about trophies and medals is not going to help you. It's not going to help you feed your family. So trust me, it's not fun just basically going back and being a youth football coach with nothing to bring to the table but memories. So I always say, getting that, it's not. I don't think it's about just getting a degree. Make sure you get a degree that actually is going to help you in life. You know, a lot of kids receive these degrees where it's really pointless because when it's time for them to go back into the real world, they realize I can't make no money with this. So I'm not going to name a degree and kind of shame it, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Speak on the low percentage of NCAA players actually making it to the NFL.
Oh, man, they show it's like 2 or 3%. And even if you're lucky to make it to the NFL, can you stay in the NFL? That's the real question. And, you know, the ones who actually do make it, they end up spending their whole signing bonus, and they live a life that they never lived before. And before you realize it, they're in debt.
Yeah.
Or most importantly, they end up having too many babies, and they're on child support, and that's another way of being in debt.
For real. What was your reaction when you heard about the high school basketball star Mikey Williams facing criminal assault charges with a firearm?
Hey, man, the only thing I can come to the situation is I can't speak on how the parenting was, but sometimes when you're an all-star, you know, you're surrounded by a lot of yes men. Yes, man. So he's a kid that probably haven't been around people who told him, hey, what you're doing is wrong. He's been around the wrong crowd, and in result, that could have been an issue. I mean, I can't speak on it, but usually when you're a star at an early age, it's not always great because the people around you is not really in your corner. They're just there celebrating your praise with you. That's it.
To all these young, talented athletes that lack discipline, explain to them how one bad decision can alter their life for the worse.
Oh, a perfect example, Ray Rice played for the Ravens back then. You know, he punched his girl from the elevator, and nobody else basically hired him after that. So with social media is actually these kids' biggest issue right now. No matter what you do, the moment somebody records you and it hits the web, depending on what you did, your career could be over with. Because just think about it. I'm gonna use women. That's the perfect example. If you hit a woman, think about the outcome. If I sign you, then I'm gonna have people protesting in front of my business because I just hit somebody who hit a woman. So somebody like you, you're not even worth the time. And it's another thing that kids don't realize. When it's time for them to get drafted, when the NFL draft approaches, they actually send out a sheet to the college coaches, and it basically lets you know what kind of kid you are. So yeah, people will use you for youth, high school, and college. When it comes time to the NFL, they got to invest. They need to make sure, will this guy be able to play every week? So that's when your bad behavior comes into play, and that's when you see kids drop from first round to seventh round because you're a liability now.
Yeah, that's real. In the past 2 years, Rise Prep Academy has produced 14 Division I signees. What's that feeling like for you?
Oh, no, it was a great feeling because when I first started, people was telling me, hey, how come kids only go to small schools from your school when I first started? Because I had kids coming in but usually their junior, senior year. See, what people need to understand is your 9th or 10th grade year is going to make or break you. When I first started, I had kids coming in their 11th and 12th grade year. So I can't clean up where I didn't have time to clean up. As time went on, I was able to get kids at a younger age. That means now they was able to follow my formula, my academic plan, and after that, Division I became just a common thing after that. I mean, it's really simple. Like when you come in, I look at what classes you have, I go over your GPA, I tell you this is what your GPA now, this is what it can be if you make A's, this is what it can be if you make B's, or a mixture of A and B's. So a kid is now aware, okay, I know what my GPA can be, the amount, based on the work I put in. And then I explain to them, hey, around this time, you'll be able to be an early enrollee. And most schools, nobody's not breaking the kid. They're not breaking it down and explaining, hey, if you do this and do that. It's just, all right, here's your schedule as a 9th grade. Here come your classes. You're going. That's it.
Yeah. What were some of your personal favorite highlights from the 2023 NFL draft?
Who was my favorite one? I'll say Alabama quarterback, Alabama. I mean, because the whole point is that he's not your typical 6-foot guy with him being undersized. So I think he kind of break the barrier for the shorter quarterbacks. So, I mean, he was my pick just because of that. I think because of him going first pick, it's going to help high schools in the future moving forward now. Because technically, if you come by, if you're not 6 foot tall, colleges pretty much do not want to recruit you. So now having somebody like Bryce, who's under 6 foot tall, this to make a way for the, our current middle school kids going to high school and then the high school kids going to college. So that's why he was my favorite pick.
Yeah. 3 black quarterbacks selected first round in the top 5, first time in history. And one was only, like you say, under 6 feet. Give me your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the first time 5 quarterbacks selected. And for the first time, all 5 of them have African-American ages, too. So, I mean, that was history on top of history.
Yeah, history on top of history, yeah. What's some of the best advice you can give these kids when it comes down to picking their agents?
First thing first. All right, first, kids, agents can only take 3%, all right, of your contract. You want to make sure that you do not allow them to be the sole responsible of your contract. So within a contract, I can't think of the term, but if you allow the agent to have the, how can I say, if you give them permission, the agent can tap into your account and take how much money they want from you. Hopefully somebody can, when this video is posted, you can turn in and show in the comments the actual name for it. But what's important, future NFL prospects, make sure once your agent gives you a contract, meet outside with a law attorney and have them read your contract over to you so they can tell you what's in the contract. Because usually when an agent hires you, well, you hire an agent, he's going to have his relative and everyone basically work for you. So everybody going to basically have their hands in your pot of your money. And that's why a lot of these kids lose their money, because they made them like I think it's called the sole beneficiary of the contract. So if that ever happens, like do not let that happen to them.
Right. 36 Florida players drafted in the 2023 NFL draft. What kind of statement is that for Florida athletes?
Oh man, that's just a regular year, man. Like when it comes to Florida, everybody knows Florida. And when it comes to football, we the best state. And just think about this: Texas is like 3-4 times bigger than the state of Florida. So just imagine we had the same resources as Texas. I mean, our number increased.
Yeah.
And if our high school coaches play our kids in the position they're supposed to play, those numbers will increase even more.
When it comes to producing D1 signees, give me the top 3 high schools in Florida in the last 5 years.
Oh, man. St. Thomas Aquinas, Chaminade Madonna, Gulliver Prep, and it's kind of like a little, well, it would have been Deerfield Beach because Coach Glenn did his thing. He's not Chaminade Madonna. And the 5th one would be probably, for a small school, I mean, they don't have the amount, I'll say Champaign Yacht. They're a small school, so they don't have large numbers, but they average like 4 or 5 Division I's kids every year.
Yeah. Florida Atlantic University safety coach Derek Gibson and a lot of other college university coaches recently visited your school. Fill me in on how these opportunities keep coming about for Rise Prep Academy.
Well, Coach Gibson, man, hey, he the real one. When I first started my school, believe it or not, I had a lot of coaches on my side of town who didn't understand what I was doing. Coach Gibson came down from Miami Central as a DC, took over Killian, and he knew exactly what I was doing. And he never questioned what I was doing. And he told me, hey, I got some guys I want to be early enrollees, and he put them in my program, never questioned what I was doing, and all the kids basically became Division I kids. And now he went off to college. It was easy for him to stop by because we already had a prior relationship. So, he was really like one of the first head coaches to believe in me.
Right.
Well, yeah, he was the first head coach, technically, yeah.
Do you feel like Rise Prep Academy is underrated?
Yes. I mean, I always tell people, man, if I wasn't African American, I'd probably be on the front page of somebody's magazine or something right now, because what I done the past 5 years, I mean, you're talking about 100% graduation ratio. You're talking about somebody who didn't have help from others to basically have the #1 accreditation globally, Cognia, to have a young lady who earned 57 college acceptance letters this year. Samaya Diva, who eventually signed to the University of South Florida, helping kids who came from the worst backgrounds to actually help them get into college and they're actually succeeding in college. I mean, everything you see is pretty much has been me. Like, people think I have a team, but Rise Preparatory Academy, for the most part, the transcript work and talking to colleges, that's basically me.
Right. What are your thoughts on the troubles Ja Morant keeps putting himself in?
I mean, he's a guy that's, I mean, to begin, he's a guy where people wish they would dream they would be in his place. I just think he's somebody, a perfect example of not having someone in his life that's keeping it real with him. Unfortunately, he has surpassed his friends.
Right.
He needs to break away from his friends.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the part in the business world when people say you change. Yeah, sometimes you have to change. You have to change for the better.
Yeah.
You know, the moment you lose your contract and deals, they're not going to be there to support you financially.
Yeah, that's real. Do you feel like a lot of these younger athletes should be learning from the mistakes Ja Morant decisions are costing them?
Yeah, definitely. They should be learning from this, but unfortunately, when you are a star, you at the top. Some of these kids are not going to learn until they fall flat in their face, unfortunately. You know, that's like you telling the kid, if you be late to the class again, I'm going to suspend you. But he's a star. He know you just talking. The moment that day comes, now his back against the wall, now he's sorry about everything now.
The legacy that you're building, does it put a smile on your face thinking about everything you have accomplished so far?
Oh, no, it definitely does. Considering that, you know, what I enjoy the most is when I first started the school, it was basically 100% all African-American kids. Now, I'm actually bringing in Caucasians, Hispanic kids, so my diversity is picking up. That's what I really wanted to be over time.
Right. Since Rise Prep Academy has been going up in the right direction, has it forced a lot of people that didn't believe in the beginning to come back around and believe in your vision now?
Well, let's say you have a few, and then you have the ones they like, you know, they didn't believe in you, but they just look now. Like, you know, some of them, they ain't gonna say, hey, good job. They just look now, just there. And the ones who knew they was wrong, they really can't approach me no more.
Right.
But, you know, I did have one AD. I'm not gonna say his name. You know, see. When I started in school, I actually had a local AD who pretty much was downplaying my school. So when I had the kids going to this high school, the AD literally made the kids withdraw from my school because of the defamation of character by the other AD. So as time went along, he realized, hey, this kid's school is the real deal. They're going off to college. And when I saw him at a spring game this year, he said, hey, man, I'm sorry, we cool? So, you know, the people who was around, that's what that response meant back then. So, you know, it's a lot of things I had to basically undergo, you know, early on starting off. Because I tell people, if your program is growing and you're getting a lot of kids, you can't expect schools to think positively of you. I mean, talk positively of you. If I talk positively of you, that means I'm going to lose my kid to you. Right. So I had to deal with schools telling kids, oh, well, that's the school all the bad kids go to, you know. So, you know, that was me my first 2 years because I had no academic history as far as the school. I have since rebranded since then. So some people understand I have rebranded. Like, you need at least a 2.0 GPA. We check your conduct, we check your attendance, and then we make a decision moving forward. So some people have updated how we move, and you have some people who still try to put me in the category when I first started, which that's not the case.
Yeah, I appreciate you for your time, man. And before we go, man, for all the younger athletes that might see this interview that are interested in joining your school, man, what kind of words of advice do you have for them?
Hey, I mean, Rise Preparatory Academy, I make it sound so simple. It's complicated, but I'm gonna make it simple for you. All I need you to do is come here, do your work. Whatever you don't understand, you're gonna have certified teachers right next to you. So you're gonna have school and also day tutoring at the same time. Whatever you're gonna need to know about as far as NCAA, the requirements, during our free time with the kids here, you're gonna basically benefit because if you're an 8th or 9th grader, you're gonna be in a class here with 12th graders and they can personally tell you the experience of the do's and don'ts of what you need to do and what you do not need to do. So a kid who's here, a young kid was gonna basically benefit from the amount of knowledge he's gonna learn over time. Like I have a 7th grader, he can tell you how the 16 core credits are broken down. He can tell you what GPA you need because he's been around me so long. He pretty much is basically beyond his age. Whereas a kid his age, he don't even know what you're talking about. 16 core classes, unweighted. So that's the benefits here. And then also, if you're a smart kid, this school also brings in smart kids. That means that your high school classes, you'll be able to complete them faster than everyone else around here. And then guess what? When you're done, we're going to put you right into college. Get your AA degree or earn your college credits. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you for your time. Any final words?
I mean, I just want to say thank you for having me. And for the people who are not aware of Rise Preparatory Academy, it's Rise Preparatory Academy, not Jerry's School. People say this all the time. Rising Stars is my sports page. Rise Preparatory Academy is my school. So I like to clear the air with that because there's always confusion about that.
All right, man. Keep on uplifting the culture. Keep on uplifting the people, man. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you for having me.
Man, the landlord of One Chance, One Life TV.